Happy day everyone. I'm Shrinithi, Assistant Professor from the Department of Sociology, M.O.P. College. In this module, we are about to take a look at the 42nd Amendment of the Indian Constitution. Indian Constitution is the lengthiest written constitution in the world. It not only gives governance advice or principles of governance, but also detailed administrative provisions. So why should it be amended then? Constitution is a living, breathing piece of document. In Dr. Ambedkar's words, what should be the policy of the state, how a society's economic, political or social setup must be, should be determined by its people from time to time based on the present conditions and circumstances. It cannot be laid down in the constitution itself because that will be taking away the essence of democracy altogether. With this in mind, we are about to take a look in this module at the 42nd Amendment of the Indian Constitution, 1976. There are three major points with regard to social legislation that we are about to see. Number one, changes made in the preamble. Number two, fundamental duties. And number three, directive principles of state policy. Article 368 of the Indian Constitution gives power to the Parliament to amend the Constitution which derives its power from the people of India. Changes made in the preamble by the 46th Amendment Act 1976. Three new words were introduced: socialist, secular and integrity. Number two, Article 51A or the fundamental duties were added to the Constitution. Number three, three new directive principles of state policy were included. First, socialist. The preamble states, "We the people of India having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic." What does socialist mean? In Indian context, socialism is a political economic system where the government owns the means of production and distribution in certain sectors where it deems necessary. Why? The reasons being overall welfare of the people, fair distribution of resources, not equal but fair, reducing class exploitation to ensure political and economical equality among the citizens of the nation. Panchayati Raj, cooperative farming, community development projects that government executes through its schemes are a few examples of how socialist policies help in accelerating growth of the nation. Indian brand of socialism can be called democratic socialism as opposed to the model of communistic socialism where everything is nationalized. In democratic socialism, there is a public-private partnership or the mixed economy model where public sector and the private sector coexist together in the country's economy. Moving on to the next topic, secular. From Emperor Ashoka announcing no religious sect will be prosecuted by the state in his rule, to the medieval period's Bhakti and Sufi movements, secularism is not a new concept to India. However, including it in the preamble which gives the essence of the constitution, introduces the constitution to the world, makes it more formal. So what is secularism in India? It is imperative that we understand the difference of Indian secularism from that of the Western brand of secularism. In a pluralistic society, the best approach to nurture secularism is to expand religious freedom rather than, say, maintain a strict state neutrality. In Western model, religion and state are put in separate spheres or separate niches and kept there. There is a wall of separation that excludes the both of them from intervening in the other's affair. It is important that we instill values in the younger generation to understand and appreciate that not just their religious traditions, but also that of the others, to not just tolerate, accept, but also to appreciate the religion and traditions of others. Indian model of secularism aims to do exactly that. How does it do it? While in the West, state and religion have a strict wall of separation that says state cannot intervene in religion and religion cannot play a part in state's role, in India, religion and state have often do interact with each other and intervene with each other. The best examples being state taking actions with regard to certain religious matters to remove social evils like abolishing sati, abolishing child marriage, regulating dowry practices or removing dowry practices, and more recently, triple talaq. The Western concept puts religion entirely in the private sphere with no mode of expression for it in the public sphere. It prohibits any public policy being drafted with regard to religion. Whereas in Indian setup, we have state formulating laws in certain matters such as marriage or inheritance, and the laws are codified based on the religion itself, Hindu Marriage Act being the best example. So the Indian model of secularism can be denoted to state, there is no state religion. State shall recognize and accept all religions with not favoring any one particular religion. Fundamental rights such as Article 15, 16 and 25 help maintain secularism of the country of India. The last term being integrity, which denotes that the country should be united and together. Next, we move on to the concept of fundamental duties. Article 51A or the fundamental duties, they are inspired from the constitution of erstwhile USSR. They serve as a reminder that while citizens enjoy certain rights that they are obligated to as members of the country, they should also be conscious of certain duties to their country, to their society and fellow citizens. They can be categorized into civic and moral duties. While cherishing the noble ideals of freedom struggle is a moral duty of every Indian citizen, respecting the constitution, national flag, national anthem in any place, any time is a civic duty. They could also be called codification of tasks that was in normal and integral way of Indian way of living. They are non-justiciable with no legal sanction for their violation. The last concept with regard to social legislation is directive principles of state policy. They have been derived from the Irish Constitution, which was originally inspired by the Spanish Constitution. They can be regarded as ideals that the state should uphold while formulating laws and enacting policies. They are constitutional recommendations or instructions to the lawmakers in economic, judicial, legal, executive and administrative matters. They form the Article 36 to 51 of the Indian Constitution. Based on their ideas, they can be classified into socialistic, Gandhian and liberal intellectual principles. They seek to establish a society that is economically and socially democratic. These are the major provisions in the 42nd Amendment Act with regard to social legislation. They work for better nation, for making India a welfare state. Thank you.